So we know somewhere we are able to capture their attention, if we are able to get their attention, we are also capturing the customer's mind.
All right, Pragya, thank you for joining in. Pragya, I'll start with my questions, which I have specially created for you, so we all can understand and learn from your experience how we can be better. So, when was the first time you experienced the power of digital marketing, and what did you feel about digital marketing then?
Right. So, Rahul, I would say content is one of my forte, right? So when I was starting off my career in marketing,
Mhm.
digital marketing was an offshoot of that. And then you're expected to work across, different content pieces. You're supposed to work for websites, you're supposed to work for pamphlets, flyers, collaterals, a lot of different things, right? And also website content. And I remember we started working with an SEO agency, and I also started developing an understanding of Google Analytics. And then there were new pages that we were building up. There were web pages that we were building up. And I got my first introduction to analytics during that time. And then we started measuring how many people come to the web page, how many people stay on the website, how many people bounce off, what is the duration, right? And then to analyze that, and on the basis of that, we were making changes to the web page, right?
Mhm.
And then we got better results. There were more people who stayed on the website for a longer period of time. There was lesser bounce rate. And to me, that was like, so amazing as a fresher who had just joined digital marketing, because in your marketing course at that time, you were taught traditional methods of marketing. And to learn that something like this is possible, which is perfectly, trackable. And that is what I say, that one of the biggest reasons why I really like digital marketing, why I made it my forte, why I wish to be a digital marketing professional, is because everything is very measurable, everything is very trackable, everything is, quantifiable, and you can run very exact experiments. You can do a lot of A/B testing, intense A/B testing, and you can figure out what is working for the business and what is not working. And like I always say, data never lies, right? If you're ready to deep dive into it, data never lies. Then if I have to share one more example with you, because I think there have been many, such great experiences. So I was doing a freelancing assignment with a book publisher, right? And I was handling the social media pages. And then I think the kind of instant engagement, reactions, and comments that you would get. So it catered to the romantic genre, right? A
Right.
romantic genre of books, and it catered essentially to women. And you would post some love quote, something mushy, something cute, something interesting, something related to books, and the kind of instant reactions, engagement you got, right? That made you realize the power of social media marketing. That made you realize that even though your customer is not buying from you at this particular moment, you could keep on having a conversation and engaging conversation with them on a very ongoing basis. But if I have to round it up, I would say the most powerful kick for any digital marketer is when your performance campaign runs and the first conversion happens. I
Right.
think that feeling has not gone away, and nothing can take that feeling from me. When you
Right.
set it up for a completely new product, a completely new page, when you
Mhm.
set up a campaign which is the first of its kind, when you're running a new experiment and a conversion happens, the kind of happiness, I think that is capable of creating nothing else, because you're able to see the direct impact of your efforts into revenue, which was not so measurable. It's still not that measurable with traditional marketing.
Right. So, what was the first tool you experienced at that time when you started with digital?
The first tool, it had to be like SEO mostly at that time, right? So the first tool I
Right.
experienced was Google Analytics. I
Right.
worked on Google Analytics, Google Search Console.
Mhm.
So yeah, these two I would say.
Great. Yes. And yeah, as you said, the data plays a great role, which I think probably in traditional, you're not able to judge anything which is on the billboards, that how many people have seen it per day, but you
Right.
can see it on your analytics that these many people visited your website. So it gives a good idea that whether your content is actually working, the bounce rates to reduce that, what kind of content you should be making
Exactly.
and making experiment on. Right. Yeah, great point. Would you like to throw some light on your aha moments in digital marketing journey till up now?
Okay, so what I like to But I've actually rather experienced a lot of time that, as a marketer, you could have your intuition. As a
Mm-hmm.
customer, you could think this is what works for me. So maybe for others also, this is what works. Or if this is my buying behavior, maybe for others also. But I have been proven wrong so many times. And I love it. Every time I'm proven wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that is proving you wrong is once again data, right? So
Right.
data wins every time for me. So I'll tell you something, and that is what I always tell even my team members, that nothing is set in stone. Nobody knows anything, and everything is up for experimentation. Everything is up for discussion and constant experiment. So what I know today, it might change 6 months later, right? So you need to repeat the same experiments also. But to give you a very specific moment, because that is what the question is about, so this previous organization that I was working with, they did coding for kids classes, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
taught kids coding, right? Now, intuitively, what would you think would be your highest intent keyword? You would think your highest intent keyword for a search campaign is coding for kids, right? But we were proven wrong. Interestingly, the highest intent keyword was coding classes,
Okay. Mm.
right? And when you try to understand why that happens, is because when a parent is doing a search, they're not essentially thinking, okay, I have a kid and I'm going to look for coding for kids. Or I'm an adult, I'm going to look for, let's say an adult is looking for coding for themselves. They're not going to look for coding for adults, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is not how the customer is thinking. That is not how they are searching. When they are searching, they're searching for coding classes. Now, when
Right.
I offer coding classes for kids, and then I can mention that in my description, right, to avoid a click, which I don't want, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bid higher on that. I'm going to make that my priority campaign, right? So the
Right.
revenue obtained from that, the ROS obtained from coding classes was higher than coding for kids. So that is a very important learning for me, that you have to understand what is customers' way of going about it, right? What is going on in their psyche? And that can always challenge what you are traditionally thinking, right? And that is where I think always be ready to experiment, always be ready to get challenged, and always go with numbers, always go with data. If I have to give you one more example,
Mm-hmm.
then there was this consumer electronics brand that I was working with in Dubai for a period of 3 years, right? And it's one of the largest electronics retailer in the region. And we used to run contests regularly on social media. And that time, these contests on Facebook and all, now they have lost steam a little bit. But that time they used to work in a major way, right? We used to get a lot of traction. Now we would announce, like, the winner stands to win like a Samsung Galaxy or something, and that would take our social media by storm.
Right.
like
The
because
giveaways.
people, yeah, a
Yeah.
giveaway, and it's a very expensive phone, right? And people perceive it as that. It's the 2,500, 3,000 dirham phone, which is a very expensive phone, right? And then what happened? We launched a contest with an LG phone, right? And that was also a very expensive phone.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it would get the same kind of traction, it would get the same kind of people reaction and commenting and everything. And none of that happened. And during the entire duration, we kept wondering that why are people not responding? Usually they're so interested when we give a high value giveaway, right? And then at the end of it, what we realized finally was there was a mistake at our end, because it's the perceived value of the product, right? So the perceived value of the product was not that high in the customer's mind. So somewhere as a marketer, we failed in informing them, in educating them, in telling them. So then I understood that what the information that we have access to as a brand, as a marketer, that same information is not available with the customer. And it's our duty, it's our responsibility to be able to step into their shoes, revisit
Right.
our communication, right? And
Right.
have it like with laser sharp focus, refine it, get feedback, circulate it around, do whatever it takes, and present it in a manner so that customer relates with it, the customer is on the same page as you,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. So, as you said, I completely agree with you. In marketing, nothing sometimes works according to our plan and strategy. As a marketer, what I believe is that you generally do A/B testing, and I generally know that some of my campaign is going to fail. It's all about testing and what works. How do you generally you do it on your end to understand that, yeah, maybe this is going to work. Will you set up something like that? multiple set of your marketing objectives and then your creatives, how do you generally plan these things? Just like you said, the perceived value for the brand at that in case of LG and
Hmm.
Samsung was different. So how do you generally do it in your digital marketing job, that
Yeah.
if I want to test something out, not working as per the marketing results is supposed to be? Is there any way you generally do that?
See, some of the ways are like, I would say, like quite tried and tested. Like, of course, like when you're running your Facebook ad campaigns, then
Mhm.
you are required to run at least 3 to 4 creative. I
Yeah.
don't want to run my campaigns at any given point of time with anything less than that. Then, of
Mhm.
course, I want to try out different campaign objectives. I want to try out different landing pages. I want to
Mhm.
tweak them, and I want to see what is working versus what. I want to try out different bidding strategies on Google Ads and all. So yes, a lot of experimentation we do along these lines. For emails also, different subject lines we try out, even different communications we try out on the basis of, what is getting a good open rate, what is getting a good CTR and everything. And so see, some of these, it's tried and tested. There's certain set ways of doing the experiment. And
Mhm.
then beyond that, some of these methods, I would say you have to keep on introducing a new breath of air, a new ideology, a new thought, right? So any new person joining my team, and that is what I tell them, that when once a new person joins the team, I want them to run the same experiment all over again. Because I
Right.
do think the customer psyche, the customer behavior, that also changes even the way somebody executes it. That is different from the previous person. Maybe there's something that I missed. Maybe there's some detail that I missed. And a new person coming in or a different person trying that same thing out, they will do a different job at it. So I would say that I like to maintain a regular environment of experimentation and, checking our own hypothesis and then also brainstorming with different teams. And these teams are
Right.
not just have to be marketing team. We are very
Mhm.
open, we're very receptive to ideas from other teams as well within the organization. And a lot of times, like my sales team head and all, they come in with excellent ideas, with amazing ideas.
Absolutely. I think the way sales, I generally say sales and marketing goes hand in hand. These are the two organizations which needs to work together. And sales
Yeah,
is being the first point of contact with the customer. They really know that what
true.
exactly the customer wants. And yeah,
They
as
have
I
a
completely agree with your idea that maybe in our marketing team we keep on doing the same thing over and over again, and over a period of time it starts bringing some block on in our different ideas coming in. So different teams bring different perspective, different teams bring different
absolutely.
ideas, and it always help us to bring something new. And even I completely agree over here as well, that when we bring some new person in the team, they have a different perspective towards the campaigns, the creatives, and yeah, a lot of things changes when they start doing the same part, right? So absolutely agree with here. Pragya, now according to you, in what kind of situation conventional marketing techniques like newspaper and TV are still valued?
I would like to believe that they're very much valuable, but it definitely depends on what space you exist in, who is your
Mhm.
target audience, what is their way of accessing information, what is their buying behavior. Are you a B2B brand? Are you a B2C brand? Are you a mass brand? Are you a niche brand? So I
Mhm.
think it depends on a lot of things. But then beyond that, my understanding of my understanding of traditional media like newspaper, TV, radio ads is it is very effective. It is very powerful in doing brand building, but
Mhm.
that is a decision that is to be taken at a strategy level by the business, by the brand. Is that something that they wish to heavily invest in? Like if I have to give you an example closer home, then definitely for career launcher, radio ads have been working really well. Also, it also blends into well into your strategy if you want to do like regional penetration and all. If
Mhm.
you want to get access to certain pockets and all, so then I think it's useful. But then it's quite subjective. Like it depends on the business. It depends on the target audience, on the TG.
Right. So as I said in the beginning that you were able to understand the matrix in digital, but as you said in career launcher, you are using radio or the other conventional channel. What is the general way of understanding the matrix over there in the radio or newspaper? I think generally whenever we talk about some leaders that digital marketing related, they're not able to give us that number. Do you have any number that if I wanted to check what kind of matrix a radio is able to
Hmm.
generate me, and what kind of things I'm able to get from a radio or the conventional channel, can you give a light on this?
See, I have to be really honest here, and all this activity, it has to be taken with a pinch of salt. It's not
Mhm.
perfectly trackable. No, it's
Right.
not.
Mhm.
You can do brand surveys. You can try to figure out from your customers as to where did they first hear about you, what was the motivation factor for them to convert. You can ask them if they have been exposed to your radio ads, if they've been exposed to your newspaper ads. That is one way of definitely capturing the information. Beyond that, it does happen that, within our network, within our friend circle, within our family members, we also get to hear from them. And, we've been hearing your radio ads a lot, or we've been seeing
Mhm.
your newspaper a lot. So we
Mhm.
know somewhere we are able to capture their attention. If we are able to get their attention, we are also capturing the customer's mind. But of course, this is all soft data. This is all, very subjective, which we perfectly understand. One thing that we've been trying to do is we've been also giving a QR code, right? Which enables them to visit a certain page. Like, we tell them to scan this QR code and you can visit our page. So again, that is like a perfect example of integration of, offline and online, which has existed for the past many years now, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, now this integration, it allows us to track as to how many people came to my website and how many people submitted a lead on that particular page. I would not say that the number is huge right now, but at least certain extent it allows us to track as to what kind of traction we are getting. And again, I would say that if I have to compare this, I will also compare this somewhat with influencer marketing.
Mhm.
There also primarily what you get access to is views. You might not always be able to link the influencers
Mhm.
with your lead numbers and all, but that is the thing about branding. It still creates a value, but then the brand has to make a good decision if they are mature enough to involve in ad spends like this. And it should not be a short-term plan. It should not be a sporadic pushing out of such communication. I do think it should be well thought out. It should be well put together, and it is something which needs to be run consistently over a period of time.
Right, right, absolutely. Yeah, well, agree with you over here. So, coming from this question, as you just said, that you need to understand whether conventional channel for you working for you or not, and it depends on businesses to businesses. So, for B2B, it could be you generally go for the B2B channels generally, and sorry, traditional channels. And similarly,
Hmm.
when it comes to B2C, I seen that mostly people go for digital marketing because this is more cheaper or compared to your traditional marketing. So how do you think in this scenario, digital marketing for B2B is different from a digital marketing for B2C?
Oh, it's excessively different. I have done both. I've dabbled in both. I started off with B2B, then I
Mhm.
switched to B2C
Okay.
because I felt I would enjoy that side more. But I've also done in the recent past also, I've done several projects, with B2B brands, with startup brands and all,
Mhm.
who are in the B2B space. So I would say they're excessively different because B2B, you're trying to get a client into your net, right? Versus customers, mass customers that you're trying to get for B2C.
Mhm.
So B2B would rely heavily on communication and content. This is not to say that B2C does not, but I would say the form of communication, the channels of communication, the mode of communication, the platforms, like as a B2B business, most likely what is most relevant for me is a channel like LinkedIn. Right. What is
Right.
really important for me is email drip campaigns. I would not uh, run performance campaigns with huge budget for B2B because a different kind of networking, a different kind of reaching out, a different kind of connection building works in the B2B segment, right? Or events work really well and all, versus B2C, where depending on the product, depending on the price of the product, right? What I would focus more on is getting mass customers into my net, and the methods that you would use would vary according to that. So I do think there's a huge difference in terms of, content strategy heavy and content and communication heavy strategy versus for B2C, I would say the strategies that I would use would be something like performance marketing, social media marketing, across the channels that, channels like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So I do think they vary a fair bit.
Okay, and what's really working for you in B2C space right now?
What's working for
Which
us?
channel I wanted to say, which channel is working for you right now?
So definitely SEO is working for us. SEO is working fabulously well for us. And this is a learning that I've had across many businesses, many organizations, that organic has the highest conversion rate. When I say conversion rate, this is like down the funnel conversion rate, not on platform conversion rate. But the highest conversions happen, the highest enrollment happen also from organic, and we have invested heavily in organic, right? So a
Right.
lot of content pages have been built up, a lot of pages, a lot of communication, a lot of content that meets the requirement of the students has been put up by the content team. So that is what is something working really well for us. Then of course Google search, no doubt about it, it is the highest intent person out there in the market looking for the product, and it's a crime, I would say, for any brand to not invest their efforts into search. Then beyond that, coming from the perspective of an education brand, I would say YouTube works really well. We invest heavily there. We do post a lot of content. Our faculty answers a lot of questions. They do sessions on form filling. They do analysis of exams and exam days and everything. So intensive amount of, they do ask me anything sessions, which are highly useful for students, right? So a high amount of efforts have been spent on building that as well. So yeah, I would say these three have been working pretty well for us. But then beyond that, I would say it's complete ecosystem. So you do need to give your customer 360-degree experience, so as to say. So along with these, there are many other platforms as well. Well put together, I think it creates a good customer experience, a smooth customer journey.
Right. As you just said, I completely agree here that SEO is something which is not going to go anywhere. Even our chat GPTs or any AI tool is coming up, it's not going to go anywhere. And yes, every digital marketer who just start their career, they generally starts going after social media, performance marketing. That looks really amazing from the perspective, and it is actually. But the long-term goal for any organization is supposed to be going for an SEO strategy. And coming from this thing itself, why do you think most of the marketers bet heavily on online advertisement as a digital marketing strategy? Don't you think that there's no justification done when it comes to online ads and SEO? Do you think this is justified?
See, it depends. So, yes, I agree with you. In the long run, what really works is SEO. What really delivers is SEO. So,
Right.
any organization, my suggestion to them would be, if you're a startup, and also, yes, if you're a startup, the scenario changes. And if you're a well-established brand, the scenario changes again, right? So if
Right.
you're a startup and you're trying to grab initial eyeballs, you're trying to be relevant, what you're trying to do in the market is just build awareness, right? Initially, I just want people to know me, and that is my prime motive. The consideration and the purchase set of purchase part of it comes later on, right? So then I understand that you do need to heavily invest maybe into your marketing. That said, I would say build consistently upon your content as well, and that can be SEO, that can be YouTube, that can be Quora, that can be anywhere where I provide content which is relevant to my relevant to my customer base, and that is where they're looking forward to information from me, right? So that is
Right.
what I say, that you need to start with performance and maybe heavily invest, and then maybe the other channels you can keep building on. But if you're an evolved brand, if you're a well-established brand, then your focus should be on growing more and more of your SEO. So a short-term strategy like performance is not going to work forever for you. So performance is
Right.
something which fuels it, right? Which
Right.
adds the extra fuel, which adds the extra fire, right? But then you cannot rely purely on it. It is something which is a short-term solution, which is like, can I spread awareness? Can I give impressions to more and more people who are relevant, who are a part of my TG, right? But what really builds confidence what really builds confidence, what really brings them organically to the page, that is not going away, as you rightly put. And I do think just spending money and then throwing money at different platforms and hoping for the best result to come out of it is an absolutely wrong policy to have. Even
Mhm.
there, I've seen a lot of brands lacking in terms of the metrics that they track, in terms of the numbers that they track, in terms of the frequency of these reports. So it's a crime if you're throwing away money and just hoping for the best scenario to shape up.
Mhm.
So I do not think that works that way. So
Right.
performance can be run, but you need to understand the nitty-gritty and nuances of it, and you need to know to what extent you're going to invest in performance, and then to what extent are you going to invest in SEO. But the long-term strategy, the sustainable strategy that I feel for any brand is to keep growing your organic, your SEO steadily. And all
Mhm.
this while you can keep the fire burning with thanks of performance.
Right, absolutely. So, what are your thoughts about performance and SEO both combined really works for any organization? Because just for an example, what I'll say that I generally run social media ads on Instagram. You can say metaverse or meta, not metaverse, meta. What we
Hmm.
generally do is just we try to trigger some keywords, not keywords, some ads, but generally triggers into organic searches on the Google. I mean, people generally look for your brand and then they start finding you up. So if you
Hmm.
didn't had that SEO strategy or SEO plan already, your website will not coming on top. And even if people go and search for you, you're not able to be there in the first page. So yes, in performance stage, you try to trigger some ads on social media, try to bring awareness about your brand, and
Right.
eventually people generally go and search for you on after
Yeah.
after seeing your things. So
Yeah,
is it
because if they
anything?
visit your website, then as
Mm,
per my understanding, as per Google's algorithm understanding, if they make an
mm,
initial visit to your website,
right.
thanks to the ads that you've been showing,
Mhm.
that increases the crawling that is happening on your web page. And if
Right.
Google realizes that people are finding you very relevant, people want to, the stickiness on your page is good,
Mhm.
then yes, it helps you in boosting your organic as well.
Organic as well, absolutely right. So according to Pragya, what do you think three mistakes are committed by organization today in leveraging digital marketing? I think we already talked about it, but just wanted to hear it again.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say too many platforms and channels launched in a
Okay.
half-baked, half-cooked manner. So we
Mhm.
need to have a solid communication strategy and initiative plan put in place. If you're having too many diversions from your initial plan, too many platforms and channels, and without a solid thought given to it, or without deciding what is going to be the content strategy, right? And maintaining the consistency in tone is also very important. Maintaining the frequency of posting, that is also extremely important. So if that is not managed well, it's not going to lead to any substantial outcome, so as to
Mhm.
speak. So definitely pick, let's say just 5 channels and invest heavily, build them, achieve your targets, have a target in place that this is what we're going to achieve for 6 months or 1 year, whatever is the time period that the organization, that the team wants to commit to, and
Mhm.
then move on to the next channel, to the next platform, while simultaneously still continuously building the previous platforms, right? Not abandoning them midway is what is, I think, is a concern, and I've noticed that happens with a lot of teams and a lot of organizations. Then
Mhm.
definitely ad spends. I think we've already, yes, definitely touched upon this.
Mhm.
So it is like, a lot of organizations are not thinking, are not giving a good thought that their campaigns, that the platform, that the ad spends should be linked to metrics. And what should those metrics be? That should also be clearly defined, right? Will it be ROS? Will it be CAC? And what is justifiable? What is not justifiable, right? And to give you an example, I do think in the startup ecosystem, this is quite prevalent for well-funded businesses until the well starts running dry, and they're hitting extremely high ROS and they're unable to justify spends. That is when they revisit it, and then they realize that, okay, no, we've been spending a lot of money in the hope that business will come back from somewhere. I do think that mindset has to change, right? You need to have a clear set of deliverables, Third thing, I would say lack of deployment of analytics and number crunching. So there should be measurable targets, and you should have your daily, weekly, monthly dashboards ready. Whether it is SEO, email campaigns, social media posts. You need to calculate your lifetime value of customers, check what kind of enrollment numbers are happening even 3 months down the lane. So this is something we do at CL. We check, 3 months down the lane, 6 months down the lane. What is the customer, what is the lead doing in my system, right? And if you can even
Right.
check from the first click, if you can check from lead submission, what was their entire journey. So we need to have a long-term perspective when it comes to data, right?
Right.
And use the same analytics, we can spot a lot of trends, we can make a lot of new cohorts, and the entire storytelling process, I like to call it the storytelling process that marketers do, right? In terms of, unified communication and reduce wastages when it comes to money and efforts.
Right. So I think data is something which I think most of the marketers generally don't pay attention to. And when it comes to marketing analytics, that is something which is, I think, really missed by many of marketers. What they understand is the links, clicks, or impression which is given on the tool is all enough to understand the day-to-day scenario in a performance campaign, or generally in analytics, about how the bounce rates are happening, how many sessions are happening. If you know the analytics very better, and then you try to analyze it day by day, generally
Yeah,
data gives you a lot of value in understanding everything.
right.
What ways can data analytics and insights be used to inform edtech marketing strategies?
So see, edtech business, I would say, definitely relies heavily on data and analytics, right?
Mhm.
So when people entered your website, where did they go, right? What was the user journey they had? How long did they stay? Where all did they hover the mouse, right? This is something that you can get access to from heat map tools and everything.
Mhm.
How many revisits happened? Which ads did they on the ad platform? Which ads did they click on, right?
Mhm.
Uh, on which ads did they convert, how many PDFs were downloaded. So this is very useful information for us in EdTech, right? Like how many people downloaded the syllabus PDF, how many people downloaded, uh, study plan
Mhm.
PDF and all, lead magnets and all. So I would say data is extremely important, right? In understanding what is the student receptive to, what are they interested in, what kind of emails are they opening, what kind of emails are they clicking on, what kind of SMS are they clicking on, what kind of WhatsApp messages are they receptive to. And to that extent, even social media reshares, right? So like we
Right.
had an insight recently that people are very much interested in notifications from us, right? That is the kind of content that they're engaging with. So then
Mhm.
that led us to an understanding that we should also maybe have an update section on our website. And on the
Right.
Telegram groups also, we started sending notifications to them because that is what they're really looking forward to, along with, funny
Mhm.
memes and all related to student life. So
Mhm.
then that also helped us in understanding that, okay, can we have a fun conversation with our database? So everything is a data point, right? And you need to be ready with your daily, weekly, monthly, whatever formats are relevant as per the channel. For like SEO, I would have a monthly format. For performance, it's a daily, weekly, monthly format. For
Mhm.
email, we do a daily tracking, then we do a monthly discussion. So you need to do, and you need to take out time from your schedules, because I know time is the thing that uh, all of us face a challenge with. But this is like sacrosanct, is what I say for any digital marketer. You
Mhm.
have to do your analysis, you have to do your number crunching, and you have to see as to what should be the way forward, what are your learnings. And I would say one more point, one very important thing that we miss out on times is not just your on platform numbers,
Mhm.
your data combined with your ERP and CRM numbers, which is like your
Right.
mid funnel and lower funnel, down the funnel numbers. It's extremely important. It gives you the most important insights into how your customer likes to interact with your brand, right?
Right.
Like I need to know like which campaigns are the ones on which people are clicking on, which are the campaigns where people are like converting. So I'll give you an example. Like we have this this free zone kind of pages created on the website for our competitive exams, where students can go and like give tests for free, absolutely free, right? And they put in lead for that. And we also run performance campaigns for the same. And then the kind of ROS we're getting from that for some of the product categories, it's phenomenal. It's even better than my regular classes campaign, classes as in, CAT classes or whatever
Right.
campaigns, because somewhere maybe the CPL is lower, the conversion rate is higher, right? So it gets justified. So then I need to find as marketer, it's my responsibility to further promote that campaign also, because the down the funnel, the final number, which is my ROS, that is getting justified. And beyond that, how can I do promotion of that on my social media? How can I promote that on my Telegram group? Can I do
Right.
a YouTube session with my faculty where my faculty introduces the students to the students who are not already aware of this particular section, this useful section on my website? I need to see how to highlight that even more. And what is really helpful in guiding me towards that has to be data and analytics.
Right. Absolutely. So your emphasis on data really tells a lot thing that yeah, that how much important these metrics are for real marketers out there, right? So since you said that uh, this is something the edtech industry, which is completely students everywhere, and they have a good influence on or for from Instagram, social media, and
Hmm.
influencers on YouTube. So how important is influencer marketing in edtech industry, and how can companies approach it effectively?
See, influencer marketing is relevant, yes. But at the same time, my one challenge with influencer marketing is, once again, it's not perfectly measurable, and you can't link the influencers to delivering real value. That said, from branding perspective, like if traditional media is important, so is influencer marketing. We do
Mhm,
need to be in this space. But
mhm,
definitely, influencer marketing is going to be very different for a fashion brand or an e-commerce brand versus an edtech brand, right?
mhm,
Because the fashion brand is engaging with mass influencers, is going to encourage repetitive purchase, versus an education brand like mine or a lot of other education brands also, because this is one high involvement decision. This is once in a life. Second, this is once in a lifetime kind of decision, right? You
mhm,
would go for coaching classes for a particular program only once. You would go for a particular course most likely only once in your life. There'll be very rare people who would even repeat an MBA, right? You would
mhm,
not typically do that. So you're going to make that one decision and you're going to stick to it. So it's a high involvement decision that
mhm,
changes the entire game for me, right? When it comes to influencer marketing also. So what we have figured out for ourselves is that what is more relevant for us is to engage with influencers that are in the education domain somewhat, who are motivational speakers or influencers that very specifically also talk about the exam or the course that I'm going to share information about. So we have been working with along with some of these influencers.
mhm,
And one more effective way, when you say effective way to approach it, I would say one more thing that brands should definitely try to see is still try to see how can they make it measurable, how can they see which influencer has been useful for them, right? One thing that we have tried is to give a coupon code for getting a certain kind of discount
mhm,
on a certain event or something coming up. And when people use that coupon code, then we are able to, which is a very well established mechanism. It's nothing new that I'm talking about. It's very well known
right.
in the industry. But
Mhm,
this is something that should not be given a miss, for hygiene's sake and for understanding as to what is working, what is not working. But I do think, because there's one more saying that these days everybody wants to influence, nobody wants to get influenced. Everybody
right.
wants to become an influencer, join the
Influencer.
bandwagon.
Yeah.
And one thing that brands really need to watch out, and this is applicable to I think each and every one, even
Mhm,
e-commerce brands and all, like the brand relevance. How closely is the person who's the influencer linked to your brand? The relevance that needs to be established clearly, right? And in that, I believe that a micro influencer could be more relevant for you, a nano influencer could be more relevant, nano influencer being less than 10,000 followers.
right. Right.
versus a macro influencer. A macro influencer might lead to absolutely no value creation, no impact. Also, because maybe they're promoting a lot of other brands also, that my brand is lost in
Hmm.
that maze, right? But a micro influencer, let's say, a micro nano influencer who specifically, let's say, covers cat exam, right, which
Right.
is the area in which I predominantly operate in as a brand. So they might be able to get me more visits because they might be considered more credible by
Hmm.
their audience base. Plus, they are followed mostly by people who are interested in getting information related to the exam. So I
Right.
do think brands need to find the connect there. Plus, of course, I still say, it's like the arena is open for everyone. You should do your own experimentation and try to see what works.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, completely I agree with you here. Since influencer now, even government has some policies about influencer that they need to put the brand if they are
Mention,
promoting it.
yeah,
And in case of I think I don't know the exact products, they really need to even use it if they are promoting something. I
hmm,
think that's a case for the influencer now. They have to use the
right,
product before they are promoting it. And yeah, since you said that this becomes a challenge for of the micro influencers because they had a audience, and sometimes they don't have a niche as such. They promote
hmm,
everything. They promote
yeah,
cosmetics, they promote e-commerce, they promote
right,
clothes and
right,
everything, and then suddenly you go and just try to finalize somebody. It becomes a challenge. So generally these influencers something which when it comes to edtech, it probably you go and find some niche that there might be some influencer on YouTube or Instagram who's just talking about how you can deal with exams, how you can deal with
right.
courses, what kind of courses. So this is something which people can go after. All right. So what role do you think customer reviews and rating plays in the decision-making process of a prospective edtech buyer? And how can companies encourage positive reviews?
Oh, extremely, extremely important. I cannot emphasize more on this. I think Gen Z's way of buying, Gen Z's purchasing behavior is absolutely to go online and check for the review. That is the very first thing they do. And I think even people like me, even people of my mother's age to that extent, even they are doing the same thing. Like even my mother would go to like, Amazon, she would read a lot of reviews and then she would tell me that a lot of people are giving very positive reviews, can you order this for me and everything. So reviews and testimonials in what is really relevant for us as a test prep brand are testimonials, stories of students who made it to the colleges of their choices, right, of their choice. So it plays an extremely important role. It really affects their buying behavior, and it is our responsibility to do social media listening, employ social media listening tools, and check where all a conversation is happening. Now some of my platforms can be on my radar, like Google reviews, mouth shut, Facebook, Insta. And some of the one challenge with the web universe is it's so vast that you can't even track every conversation. So definitely you need to do your combing of the entire universe. You need to use your social media listening tool and see what all your customer is saying about you, what
Mm.
all. And it could be positive, negative, it could be a criticism, it could be an inquiry, it could be something like a recommendation that why don't you guys start a hybrid class model, why can't we have a combination of online and offline. So as a brand, it's my responsibility, it's my duty to listen to the voice of my customer. I need to know what are they saying, what are they talking about, right? So I definitely need to watch out for this. And if you need to build positive reviews, so this is something we definitely do. We do reach out to our students and we do take reviews from them, right? And in that, uh, my modus operandi is you should always tell people that in case we were able to add value to your life, in case we were able to create a positive impact in any of the way. It could be you like my you like my course material, you like my classroom environment, you like my faculty, whatever it is, can you please share about that. So I do think that there should be a lot of honesty in requesting the students, or even in honesty in replying to even the negative responses. Whatever comes in, you should take it as constructive feedback
Absolutely.
as an organization, as a team, and try to improve upon that. And I think that is very important. But beyond that, yes, you should be listening everywhere to the voice of your customers. And it does help if you want to get more positive reviews, then do send them a WhatsApp text, do call them up, and then take feedback from them. How was your experience? Did you enjoy? Are there any challenges? How can we improve? And then if they come across as somebody who's satisfied, somebody who's had a good experience, then ask them to share that review online, request them to share that review online. In case they've not had a not so good experience, then definitely escalate it to your support team, raise it to whoever is the stakeholder, and try to resolve the matter.
Right. I mean, yes, absolutely. As much as the positive reviews are required for any organization, for any brand, you can say not just in tech, so as your negative reviews, because
Yeah.
the negative reviews are not actually negative reviews, these are feedback for the organization. These are generally considered in that way that it can improve your customer satisfaction moving forward. So when you see any brand and you go and search for their reviews and you find all positive, do consider that there's something fishy, because you know eventually you can't satisfy everyone's demand, and there could be something which is a challenging. Then you talk to the customer, understand their demands, or anything which is missing, and you sort that out, right? So
Right.
positive reviews or negative reviews, these are part of the digital marketing. And since just as you said, you have to have your ORM ready for maintaining everything. Do your social listening as much as possible to make sure that you have those reviews coming in, whether it's positive or negative. It generally helps other takes a good decision. So there's so many edtech companies are out there, right? What do you think? What are the trends currently shaping the digital marketing landscape of edtech?
So yeah, then I would say AI, big data. This is
Mhm.
going to make a big impact. Like, what are the students' likes, dislikes? What are their behavior? What are they into? How do they interact with my platform, with my learning platform? So I need to observe all of this. I need to figure out the USP of my program, the features of my programs. What value am I exactly going to create basis this, right? What are they? What kind of tests are they taking? What are they watching hours, and all? So I need to monitor all of this, and on the basis of that, I think we are going to design a very customized experience for every student. And yeah, persona based marketing in continuation with that. I need to figure out that, are you a working professional, or are you a student? What are the hours during which you are available? How do you want to receive the information? Should my entire course be mobile friendly, or do you have a laptop? Do you not have a laptop? So I need to know all these data points about them. Do I need to do a gamification,
Mm,
of my product offering? Is that your way of learning? So even the ways of learning would change, and I think Gen Z is very dynamic. Gen Z is like
okay.
nothing that anybody has ever seen before, and they are the leaders in everything. They define everything. So we have to follow the lead, because that is a student that an edtech player is catering to primarily, unless and until you're in a different space of courses for like advanced professionals and all. So this is the space that you're catering, so then you really have to keep pace with them. So yeah.
Absolutely. So as you just said, Zen is something which we really need to follow a lead, because they are still building themselves in the leadership role. They are the influencers right now. They are the one who is building
Yeah.
something new. They are the one who are doing the vlogging much. They're the one who's setting up the trends now. They are the one who are actually going viral these days. So this is something which is really important for an ad tech to understand these Gen Z and create their strategies according to them. Coming to the same thing, like when it comes to Gen Z or anyone you wanted to hire in your company, apart from the technical skills, what exactly do you generally see in a candidate, or what exactly do you really want them to have?
Enthusiasm, vigor. I think a zest, like to a zeal to go places, right?
Mhm.
So and understanding of what digital marketing entails at a basic level to begin with. Like, you should know what the role entails, you should know what this is about, and you should be at least familiar with the different aspects of digital marketing, because in digital itself, you have so many things that you can begin your journey with, right? And so a lot of them do wish to be a journalist, and probably advance to a role like mine, or maybe even more senior than me. But you need to make a beginning somewhere, and I would think that you begin somewhere with your forte. You begin with something that you're comfortable with. And that could be, if I have to really break it down for a fresher, if I really have to break it down to some an entry level person, I would say either, your communication skills have to be in like in a great shape, or it has to be your analytical skills. Because if it's communication skills, you can do something like social media, you can do email marketing. Along with that, and analytical skills, if you're doing, performance marketing, if you're doing SEO and all. So then you need to have either of these two different skills, or if you have both, then that's great. But to a certain extent, both of these skills apply greatly in a digital marketing role. And beyond this, I would also say that, if they've done a course in digital marketing, that would give me an understanding of the level to which they're invested, that they've done
Mhm.
some homework, they've done some groundwork, they're very clear that this is where they wish to build their career, right? And that is very important for me to understand, that this is a candidate who's very dedicated to building their career in digital. And if given the right opportunity, I can, like, really shape them up in a good way.
Right, absolutely. So it's not just the course you have done, how much you were indulged in those courses really
Yeah.
matters. And absolutely, it's still the case. There are so many people who are offering digital marketing courses, but it's really important that you need to understand what are the assignments they worked on, what kind of case studies they have followed, or how much their involvement was there in the classroom when they were learning all the things,
Right.
right? Not just getting a certification, right? So how do you stay updated for the latest trend, Pragya, in digital?
So see, my go-to platforms for things that I operate in and day out would be the platform themselves. So
Mhm.
definitely Google algorithm, the updates that come from Google itself, Google ad updates, Facebook ad updates. Then beyond that, also there's some blogs and all, like search engine journal is there. Then
Mhm.
social media examiner is there for social media. Then Moz has a blog.
Mhm.
So yeah, I do visit these blogs and websites frequently to get
Right.
my information, to get my dose of what is happening in digital media space. And sporadically, I also like attend digital marketing events and all, where you do get to know a lot of different thoughts. You do get to know what is happening in the industry and what everybody is discussing.
Right. So, Pragya, if I say every digital marketer, just like me and you, we need certain change. So if you were given some power to change something in digital marketing, what that would be?
I would say that we keep talking 360-degree marketing, 360-degree marketing, but I do think that we have not really invested in it properly. We've not understood. A lot of us have not made enough efforts, or a lot of us are trying to break it down, but it has not happened. So I would say that, one, unified storytelling, and a deep understanding, a very in-depth understanding of the touch points uh, during the entire customer journey, wherever he or she interacts with the brand, that needs to be developed. How he or she want to be, how do they want you to reach out? What time do they want you to reach out? We need to develop a very in-depth understanding of this and develop cohorts basis that. And that is something that uh, very few brands have done well. And a more unified platform and an integration with your CRM,
Right.
of, let's say, that your automation tools and all, your CRM integration with your ad platforms and all. So these things are already available, but
Mhm.
not enough efforts have been spent on exploring these, and understanding the customer and doing very targeted, laser sharp marketing. That is still to be done. I still think that a lot of things we are doing, we are operating in silos, and that needs to be challenged and changed.
Right. Great. Good to know that, Pragya. Will agree on those points. And yes, there are certain things which really needs to be updated. Okay. Wait, so would you like to share a few words about the digital marketing education we are imparting in Digital Vidya?
Sure. So I had a look at your courses, and what I really liked was, very practical courses, With amazing faculty, faculty that is quite well experienced. They are like, market leaders themselves. And along with that, you're also offering like, a lot of like courses, like, sorry, daily assignments you're giving to the students, along with real time experience, and also a placement opportunity. And I also noticed this one particular course which was like, enable your Shopify web shop, which I really like. So I like, that's amazing. Even as an entrepreneur, if I'm struggling, and I've
Mm,
come across some of these myself, that they're really struggling. They're like, I have this inventory, I have this product, and I want to sell this, but
mm,
I don't have anybody to guide me, or do I need to approach somebody who will help me? And I really like that, because even there's a demand, there's a very strong demand for digital marketing candidates. There's a very strong demand for digital marketing resources, but there's a crunch in the market, and we
right.
definitely need institutes, we definitely need courses that address that prepares this workforce, which is like, ready to take on these assignments, and
Right.
with practical experience, with practical exposure, that is even more better, because then, they're ready to like uh, get going like right from day one. So I think great job at Digital Vidya's end, definitely.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kind words. And as you just said, there's actually a crunch of digital marketers and expertise digital marketers. So to fulfill this gap, Digital Vidya launch a new program called Digital Marketing Bootcamp, a pay after placement program, and with a specialization in performance marketing, which guarantees users or candidates to get a salary of 4.5 lakh, minimum salary of 4.5 lakh per annum.
That's amazing.
And that is something which is um, we are doing it with a good placement rate of almost 94%, and the average CTC was
That's superb.
4.8 LPA. So this is how Digital Vidya from last 13 years trying to bridge the gap and bringing more digital marketers as digital marketers possible, and try to fulfill the gap into in the market right now. So Pragya, thank you so much for joining in today and sharing your views um, about your experience in digital marketing and things a digital marketer should be following in future. Thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time.
Rahul, for giving me this opportunity. It was lovely talking to you, and I hope to help your students through the insight that I share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pragya.